It's Tuesday, January 28th, 2025, and I've got an update for you on the upcoming winter storms and severe weather we're about to experience. Now, these storms are about to hit completely different than the storms we've been talking about here recently, where everybody just gets in this huge Arctic blast and we're dealing with snow all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. This is a little bit of a return to normal for winter. However, we are still going to see some very impactful storms over the next couple of weeks, and I want to give you guys a heads up on the ones we know about right now. First off, we're still looking at this big feature up here in the northern and northeastern United States. This is a jet stream with really fast winds, several thousands and thousands of feet above our heads. This is ushering in some very cold air into the northeast. It's not going to make it down here into the southeast at the same rate that it did last time, because we've got this closed off upper level low helping to bring in some warm air from the Gulf and from the Pacific and from Mexico over here into the central U.S. Now, this is all going to come together to bring about some severe weather in Texas and Louisiana, especially as we go into Wednesday. You see how we've got this trough over here once again kicking up some moisture from the Pacific, some moisture from the Gulf, and there's lots of cold air locked into the middle of this low pressure system over here, allowing for the perfect recipe, honestly, for a late January severe weather situation in Texas. It looks like it's not going to be quite as robust on Wednesday as it will be on Thursday. Notice how those winds at the 500 millibar level get quite a bit stronger Thursday afternoon and evening. There's going to be good shear out here, so I'm concerned about tornadoes as these storms move into eastern Texas and then eventually into Louisiana. One thing that we've got going for us is there's not a lot of convective energy. There's not a lot of that springtime, summertime kind of juiciness to the air. That will probably limit the severe weather a little bit, but there's so much shear that I'm almost certain we're going to have some tornado problems. And all the while that's happening, you're already noticing it today in the Northeast. We're going to have a crazy amount of just really fast moving snow showers over here in the Northeast associated with this big polar jet dipping down from Canada. We're going to have several days of snow squalls in New England, lots of lake effect snow over here, especially on the southeastern side of these lakes. And it's just going to feel like winter times 1.5 really for you guys over here over the next couple of days. There are some places that will see the coldest air of the season as a result of this. Most of us have already seen the coldest air of the season, don't get me wrong, but that little dip right here in Maine especially is going to be very cold, especially on Wednesday. So yeah, this morning as I'm filming this, there's a bunch of snow squall warnings in effect right now for portions of Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and that'll continue into the afternoon. Notice this bigger shield of snow coming over the Great Lakes here on Tuesday afternoon. That's going to drop a hefty amount of snow in southern portions of Ontario, even over into extreme southern portions of Quebec, and also it's going to drop a decent amount of snow over the Adirondacks into portions of northern New England as we go into the day on Wednesday. Then our attention is going to flip over here. There's that swirling low pressure system we've been watching on the upper levels. We can actually now see it on the surface because we're getting closer. Here on the HRRR model, that's showing up as snow in the Four Corners region. Watch over here in Texas. We've got so much moisture just bubbling up from the Gulf, meeting that cold air, and that's when we get our storms. About 8 p.m. Wednesday, we're going to see widespread severe storms breaking out in central Texas, maybe up into the Red River area as well. But I really think the main threat with these is going to be hail and wind. The tornado threat's not going to really be there until this thing starts moving a little bit farther to the east. Now, don't get me wrong, we could have a couple isolated tornadoes on Wednesday, but Thursday, that's when I'm concerned about maybe some prefrontal cells or maybe even some embedded supercells as the storm goes through Dallas and then into eastern Texas and then on over there into Louisiana. Marginal risk of severe weather Wednesday, January 29th for Dallas, Wichita Falls, Austin, San Angelo. Get ready for some hail, some wind, and a few isolated tornadoes. And then we've got that slight risk of severe weather on Thursday in southeast Texas up into the majority of Louisiana. That includes Lake Charles. It includes Alexandria, Monroe, and Riston. So make sure you have a plan in place and you know what you're going to do when that warning comes through. I do believe we're going to have a couple tornado warnings here, so don't get caught off guard. It's January. I know we don't want to be thinking about tornadoes. It just snowed in a lot of these places. We're back in our normal winter patterns here, which is actually, it's not uncommon to see tornadoes in Louisiana in late January. All right, so it's not just the severe weather that we're concerned about over here. Also, we're going to have a decent amount of snow over here in Colorado and New Mexico and Arizona. I saw some people talking about a very, very significant snowstorm over here. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. There's definitely going to be some decent snows, especially in the higher elevations in southern Colorado and northern New Mexico. This will be over pretty much by Thursday afternoon, and then our main focus is going to be once again on the severe weather and the heavy rain that's going to be breaking out over the Mississippi River Valley up into the southwestern portions of the Ohio Valley as well. And then there is going to be a secondary snow band that sets up on the backside of that storm that might actually bring a decent amount of snow to Chicago, Detroit, southern portions of Ontario, once again, maybe even places like Cleveland and Buffalo up into the interior northeast and New England will get in on a decent amount of snow here as we go into Friday. As far as snow totals go, I'm not 100% sure. The one thing I am sure about is the rain. We're definitely going to have flash flooding problems over here from about Dallas all the way up into southwestern portions of Kentucky. That includes Little Rock and Memphis. As the severe weather is moving across Louisiana, up north from that, we're just going to have a bunch of torrential downpours because of all the Gulf moisture that's going to be coming up into Arkansas. And this is going to lead to flash flooding. So make sure you're ready, especially on Wednesday and Thursday for flash flooding in northeast Texas, the whole state of Arkansas, up into the boot heel of Missouri and southern Illinois and western Kentucky and Tennessee. And then once again, I'm not confident enough to talk about snow totals with this northern extent of the precipitation that will be dropping snow up here from Chicago all the way over through upstate New York and Maine. Even looks like it's going to drop a decent amount up here in Nova Scotia, but I am confident enough to say that, hey, this looks like it's going to be somewhat of a snowstorm for you guys, at least 2 to 4 inches in every portion of this green area here by the time we get to Friday and Saturday. So get ready for that. It's just going to be more snow on top of the light snow that we're going to be receiving over the next couple of days in the form of these clippers and snow squalls and stuff. This one looks like it's a little bit more persistent though, and it's a part of a greater storm system. So get ready for that. It's not going to be feet of snow, but it'll be something. Looking even farther into the future, between February 2nd and February 6th, we're going to be above average in the south and below average in the north. And the angle of this boundary between warm and cold is going to shift kind of like this. I think as we go through February, we're going to stay cold over here. We're going to stay warm over here. And that is going to set the stage for storms to happen quite often in the middle. Check out this image from Ben Knoll here showing the first part of February and just how many pulses of cold air we're going to see coming down from Canada, from the Arctic region. But notice how every single plunge of cold air that does come down into the central U.S. is preceded by a very warm plume of air. This is a very classic signal for a very stormy February. I think we're going to have plenty of chances for snowstorms, especially in the plains and especially in the northern U.S., the places that have been missing out on snow. And we really have to watch out for severe weather from the southern plains into the southeast, maybe even all the way up into the Ohio Valley. It's going to be an active February, so make sure you're subscribed and you got those notifications on, because I plan on being here every day as long as there's something new to talk about, as long as I have some sort of news for you, something that I'm confident about. If there's a storm coming in, if there's an update to a storm that I've already told you about, I'm going to be here for you. And if there looks like there's going to be a widespread significant event, whether that's a blizzard, a snowstorm, a tornado outbreak, or anything like that, we go live here. So turn those notifications on so you don't miss that. And please slap that like button, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye. Ooh.